Let's go ahead and get down to business. First of all, we have a very special guest here. She is from an organization called the International Association of Women in Radio and Television. Yes. We're going to give her
all the way from New York City.
New York City. I was just in New York earlier this year for the APAP conference. American.
You never called on me.
No, my bad.
Jabari.
Sorry. Okay, let me just crawl back into my hole.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sheila Katzman, who is the president of the International Association of Women in Radio and Television. Thank you very much for being USA.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's other divisions.
Yes, we're a chapter of 17. I am
17.
One of 17 chapters.
Really cool.
Wow.
If you could just park up just a little bit closer to the
yeah.
mic, because I want everybody to hear what you got to say.
Yes.
There we go.
This is good.
All right. Yes, ma'am. That is
Yeah.
perfect. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing as wonderful as ever being with Jim Ellinger,
Yes.
lovely wife Karen.
Yes. We got to shout out to Jim Ellinger. Jim has been part of Austin Radio for a long time, and he was also part of KAZI in the Genesis. So it's good. Day one. Exactly. Based back when I had hair, and his was a little darker. Not so much now, but we're still here, and it's a beautiful thing. And I like that shirt, man. I'm gonna snatch that shirt off of you.
Yeah. He comes in with a green KZI shirt.
Green KZI shirt.
Tell us you're a friend of the family by telling us you're a friend of the family.
Exactly. Without telling us you're a friend of the family.
It's a beautiful shirt.
Yeah, it is. Well, good morning to you. How you guys doing? You doing good?
Good, as wonderful as ever, I shall say.
I'm so curious, ma'am. Did you how were you elected the president of this chapter? You guys are in 54 countries. Did you have to campaign, and how does that come about?
You did your homework. I came to the organization because many years ago they had asked, I'm a former UN professional, and they had requested me to come and be keynote speaker on Peace Radio at one of their international conferences. They do 2 conferences, a regional and a biennial conference each year. So I went to that biennial conference in Ghana to talk. And then since that, they have been hounding me to become a member. And since at the start of IAWRT, there were women, Assistant Secretary General, Lila Doss, etc., Michelle Montas, spokesperson, who were all part of the, beginning and so on of IAWRT.
Wow.
And so they asked me to be their rep at the UN when they realized I was going to leave the UN. I took early retirement from the UN. Mm-hmm. And so I did, because IAWRT has what is called special consultative status at the UN, because they're almost there at the beginning of the United Nations. I think from San Francisco.
Oh.
Right. So
I'm going to say, guys, did we start the UN? Was that 1947? Am I got that there?
I think you might have that right.
Did I nail that one?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Feel
That's
good
deep.
about that.
That's deep.
So for those who don't know, IAWRT is committed to the enhancement of women's role and participation in media, as gender equality cannot be achieved without gender parity in media and communication.
Exactly, and equity. Don't forget that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. And what we do is I like to say, I kind of don't like the word empower. It's just thrown out too much nowadays. Mm-hmm. But we try to train. We offered scholarships and stuff like that to women journalists, and we train them. And we like to also go to hot zones right around the world. Like we were in Tunisia, for instance, a couple of weeks after the uprising in Tunisia. Mm-hmm. Wow. We were in Turkey when they descended upon Taksim Square in Turkey. Yeah. We go to these places where things are happening, to make sure that female journalists are seen and protected, and that they have a voice, because we come under fire.
Yes.
Quicker than you would, right?
Okay.
Because we're women, and in many countries around the world, especially, we live in a patriarchal society, we still are, the boys are made to feel that women are taking away, girls are taking away their jobs.
Oh.
And this is why you have high unemployment among youth and so on. And our people get murdered and incarcerated and these sorts of things.
That's a shame. And then the thing about it is, I believe women can actually do it better.
I think
I think a little bit more complete. I think there's a little bit more complete. We were actually on the show talking about, what that's about, because for the most part, I think that there's a completion and a complete list of what a woman wants to accomplish, especially if you're overseas and you're talking about certain issues that don't get talked about in other, like here in the U.S. There's a lot of stuff that happens overseas that we don't know about, and I think that there's a completion that a woman brings to the story, to a story, to let everybody know what's going on from number 1 to number 10, the whole list. Right?
Exactly. You're so right. And you saying that having a mother or a grandmother and that sort of thing, right? She brings the family, the entire family. She created you. And so you train a woman, you give a woman, the wherewithal to do the things she wants to do in the world, and we save the world. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. No disagreement here. I came to the station. I'll be coming up on a year here in less than a week.
Yeah.
And there was a lady, shout out to Stacy Shea, who brought me on and spent a considerable amount of time with me honing my craft. And I think I'm killing it now. I'm carrying these two. But no, but I really like that when I came here, we had her. She was so ingrained. We had Miss Marla. And I also have a good friend that's really trying to break in herself, and I see her struggles. She has told me how there are a lot of situations where she doesn't feel comfortable, she doesn't feel seen, she doesn't feel supported, and I hate that, because what can I say as a guy? Because all I can say is, I'm doing good. No, it's hard to be in that conversation, because you want to jump into her skin, and I want to jump in her skin, and I want to get in somebody's face and say, well, come on, because this is a bright young lady. She has just so many great ideas, but she needs the opportunities.
You see, I like what you're saying, and you say what you feel like. You need to get with your brothers and you need to say, this is what is happening. We need you to advocate.
Yeah.
We are not, even though we're a women's organization, we don't leave men behind, right? It is important that we carry our sons or fathers or brothers.
Yeah.
So we need the men to advocate, because it's like racism. Racism is not a black problem. Racism is a white problem. Right? Mm-hmm. But it impacts us. It's like a disease, that falls on us and it cripples us. So we need those people who present themselves as white to look at this and see what you are doing to me and how you benefit from me. You see, I want to tell you something else about IAWRT. We set up radio stations around the world, right? In places that, are where you have media desert. And we do that because we think community radio stations are important, like what you have here.
Yes, ma'am.
It's really important for economic, social, legal, everything, all the gains and all the economic development and advancement that our girls need. I'm going to say our girls now, women and girls need.
Yes.
And so it is really important for us to do that. The Filipino government has not just shut down, they arrested our young person who turns 24 this year, 4-year lingering in jail with trumped up charges, right? And her name is Frenchie May Cumpia. I'm shouting her out. Yeah. And then we have Lady Ann Salem, also of the Philippines. We lost our youngest journalist, killed by the Taliban in in Afghanistan, right? And I could go around the world and tell you that. And because my friend over here, what's your name again? Sorry.
Oh, Jabari.
Jabari, you said there are things happening around the world that you don't know about what's going on around the world. This is what I'm talking about. You never heard about what I'm talking about before. And so there's somehow a news blackout when it comes to major media, mainstream media. And we know why that is. And so I would ask for all community radio stations to be able to seek knowledge, seek knowledge outside, because people of color around the world are really getting, I would call, the pangs of hell in terms of as truth tellers, you see? And so this is some of what we do, training in and if you want some of the training, because we need it here in the United States too. We do safety training for journalists, and men do come to these safety training. We have books and so on. The books didn't come in time for me to bring and give to you guys, but Jim will get you some, because I'm going to send them to Jim.
Great. Give it to him. I'll give him a hard time if they don't. If they don't
on safety training. I don't have them here with me. They're in New York. We forget to bring them here. And these are the sort of things. What else do you want to know? We shape the policy at the UN for journalists around the world.
Yes.
We try. We contribute to the policies around the world. We're invited to meetings, the special rapporteur for women and female journalists in particular, and these are great, deliberations that happen, that comes up with a policy that is sent to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and then from that they put what they want into the policies that control media. We don't know that our media here even is the standards and policies are set by the United Nations, but we don't know that, right? In the United States, we don't know that, but right. You are the United Nations, and your ambassador to the United Nations is representing you, and whatever they do at the United Nations is in your name.
Yes.
So you guys need to know these things, and your listeners out there who are listening need to know how much they are part of this United Nations. It's not just some people there. Right? It is critical and important.
It sounds like a daunting task. You guys have your acting president. Is it still Lady Mamangun out of the Philippines?
It's the president in the Philippines is another Marcos. It's Marcos's son.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
I remember Marcos was really brutal. So we just left. They just left Duterte.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what and Jim Ellinger here, whom you guys are praising and talking about, is somebody who knows the Philippines as well, and knows some of our members in the Philippines, and know the speed of what's going on there.
To be in so many countries, that's where I was getting at. It's got to be a daunting task. It feels like you would be so spread so thin. There's so many different environments, so many projects, so many items to focus on. This country does it this way, this country does it that way.
So culturally, okay, so we have 17 chapters.
Yes.
We have, let me see if I can, would you like me to name them?
Oh, certainly.
Right. Sure, go ahead.
So we're here in the United States right now.
Yes.
We have the Philippines, where our secretariat is placed right now. We have Kenya, we have Cameroon, we have South Africa, we have Nepal, we have come on, huh?
A bunch of them.
A bunch of them everywhere. Yeah. We have Nigeria, we have India.
Oh, yeah.
We have India and the Philippines, the two largest. These countries are massive. Mm-hmm. And we have Cambodia.
Oh, okay.
And we have members on every continent.
Wow.
And so when we do a conference, the theme is developed with everyone. And cultural sensitivity is really critical and important. So already we know that when we get into that country, we know what we're going to do. And we've been together for quite a long time with sisterly love and that sort of thing. And so it's we do the stuff, and you're bringing other things from outside into that country, so they know what other journalists are facing out there, and so on. We need more U.S. members now, more female journalists. So I want all the journalists at this radio station to look at IAWRT.
Yeah, that would. So do you have somebody like, let's say, Christian Amanpour? Do you have somebody like that?
No, but we have some really outstanding and famous journalists like Maria, what's her name? I think she just got the Nobel Peace Prize in the Philippines, called Maria Reza. I'm not sure the situation in the Philippines there. We have people from Afghanistan, Najiba Ayubi, who is famous, is the first woman and only woman to meet with the Taliban in Doha 2 years ago, where they made promises to her that the advancement of women would continue. This is something that they would do. She was in the press everywhere. But you don't know that, right? And she's a refugee now in the United States. A number of them are here, and
wow, Maria Ressa.
Yeah,
she won the Nobel Peace Prize, the journalist, she co-founded Rappler, the top
Rappler.
digital-only news site that's leading the fight for press freedom in the Philippines.
She's Rappler. We have Abir Sahadi, who was also shot by ISIS in Syria. She's Egyptian. I remember one time I was interviewing her during the uprising in Egypt, and he could hear the gunshots outside.
Oh my goodness!
Her gun was going off outside. So we do go through quite a bit to stay in this profession. I don't know why truth is such an enemy of the so-called powers that be. Why is truth an enemy? You know, it really shouldn't be the enemy. It should be something that moves society, and legislatures should really love it when you tell the truth. And if it's something that is a bit bothersome, they should say, okay, come and explain it to the people, and say, oh, it's not the way that that journalist tells it. This is what is happening, and so they can answer questions. And I heard that your station is doing a bit of that, which is just wonderful. It's your PR person, Mr. Ellinger over there, said that.
Well, he's on the payroll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Checks in the mail, sir.
Right. Yeah. Well, the station was founded by my dad, Dr. John Warfield, and my mom, Jeanette Warfield. And my dad was definitely a warrior in getting the truth told and putting that out there and saying, okay, well, if it isn't like this, then tell me what it's supposed to be like. His fight was very, very deep. Even as part of the University of Texas, I used to hear all kinds of stories with him clashing with President Cunningham and clashing with this person and that person. But that's the person he was. He wanted truth out there, and that's what we do. I try to bring a little bit of that as well as everything else that we talk about here. And so what you're talking about is very important. And I'm looking at your website, talking about there's a safety handbook for women journalists. It's a shame that it has to be like that, but it is. It's actually in 4 different languages: Urdu, Turkish, English, and Arabic,
yes.
As well. Gender mainstreaming. You've got the whole history of your organization, as well as amplifying. It says amplifying the people's voices, community radio station. And I'm going to assume this is a link or list that people can look on at your website. I'll give that real quick. IAWRT.org.
Yeah.
That's the website.
Yeah.
So you guys definitely need to see that. But yeah, why is truth an enemy? Why is it an enemy? And it continues to be.
It's interesting, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Very interesting.
No question.
I see my husband Howard over here pointing to cell phone cinema. In 2022, I launched I launched My Climate Change Story, cell phone cinema, because climate change means a lot to me. Originally, I'm from Jamaica. I'm an island girl. And so I launched it at the United Nations, and this was online, we had 315 people that we trained in how to use their cell phone to tell their own story of what's happening, even those mitigation circumstances and so on. And so people can learn from each other. And then we did a bit, over 6 to 8 weeks online.
Yes.
And then we went to Sierra Leone, where it's like I lived there for 6.5 years because I was in the peacekeeping operation there.
Okay.
And we trained journalists. We brought journalists and women from rural communities together to train together, because the world has changed. Yes. And as we're here talking and people are listening to us, we need to meet those people outside. We need to talk to them. We need to bring them to the studios. They have so much stories. And so we did that. And then we did that in Tanzania, in Zanzibar. So 22, 23, what year is this? 24.
24, yes.
Yeah.
And then last October we were in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Oh.
So we mix radio with what else people may need, and just documenting those stories so people can see what's happening, using the audio on radio and the video for something else, right? So we do that sort of training. We're training refugees from different countries, Yemen, Eritrea, Afghanistan, and so on, at Somalia. And day 2 of the training, there was a suicide in the Afghan community.
Yes.
Not from the trainees that were with us, but someone close to that trainee,
Okay.
to the group that was there. And that was really, really sad, but there were no radio programs about it. There was, because Indonesia it's not a refugee sanctuary.
Yes.
It's a transition point. So even though they're there for 7-10 years, they're waiting to be accepted by another country.
Oh.
And they're looked after by IOM, is the International Migration Organization, and by maybe UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and so on. And so that's part of the work we do. Because we're radio and television, but
Yes.
the electronic media.
Yes.
That's what we're all about. And who knows? Jim participated in our program, UN program, global program, which was held in Utah a couple of years ago. I don't remember what year that was, Jim. I don't remember what year that was.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I have my husband here with me, who, is maybe, I don't know if he's a retired documentary filmmaker.
Oh.
Who, we work together. He helps me a lot too, and that sort of thing. So
I was gonna make the joke of how does Mr. Katzman keep up? You were telling us all the countries that you've been in, and I think he doesn't unpack. He takes it out, he takes it to the laundry, and then he packs the suitcase back again, because she's not going to stay here for long.
But he's an activist, so it's,
okay.
It's good that this is happening.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys are the beacon of light. You're that guiding light for a lot of young interests. I think this is what they can aspire to. You were saying that there are scholarships. And I saw on your website support for production of one major documentary biannually. So by going to IAWRT.org, they can start to find out how to participate, how to apply, how to network. This is great.
Especially journalism students.
Yes.
who are interested in the electronic media, whether it's web, whether it's AI. We're doing a lot around AI now too as well. And so, yes, connect with us. If you're in the United States, you can come to us at IAWRT.org. But either way, if you go to the regular site, it comes directly to us as well. And it's a great organization to be with. And we want to expand it in the Americas.
For those who joined late, we're with Sheila Dallas-Katzman, president of the U.S. chapter of the International Association of Women in Radio and Television.
USA chapter.
Yes. And IAWRT, we keep referring to. You know, we're using that acronym, but very, very, very. It's capturing because it just tells us you guys are in 14 countries. You said there's 17 chapters, 54
countries.
17 countries.
54 countries, 17
chapters. Just incredible. And those are the opportunities. And more importantly, for some of the young journalists, for some of those youngsters that are trying, that's an instant network. Like you could reach out to someone. I know this is easy, but you could reach out to someone in Jakarta because you were just saying.
Oh, yes,
you could reach out in Jakarta and just ask for opportunities. And there's an opportunity this summer for me maybe to come out and just be a fly on the wall, an internship, if you will.
Yes, the network is great. It's really fantastic. You meet people from all around the world. You make friends. You exchange food, recipes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I know you would really like that.
Yes, I do.
Energy and food, so you have to keep that energy up, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, well, no, I was just going to ask, when it comes down to being a member, is this something that does the membership expire? Are there
annual membership?
So it's an annual membership,
yes.
And I would imagine a lot of these are digital. They are virtual events.
There are loads of virtual events, and you can see some of it online.
Okay.
All our documentaries are award-winning documentaries, and I have to say this. Our documentary Climate Women Change, this documentary is in the Oxford Encyclopedia for Climate Change.
Wow.
Right? And we won numerous human rights awards, all sorts of awards. Every year we have a full-length, documentary, and it's really great. And we put out a call out there, and for radio as well. We have radio stuff that is happening where people can, come forward. Because we want to keep radio alive. Radio is important for communities. And I'm going to say communities of change. Because post-COVID, whether we want to or not, we do have a post-COVID new normal.
Yes.
Life is not going to be the same again.
No.
And we need radio, and we ask the young people to come in and make radio, especially community radio, theirs, alongside the podcast, because the same podcast can go to radio. You do it for radio. You've got to learn how to edit your podcast and bring it to radio, and it can work because grandpa who are maybe blind or whatever it is, will still listen to the radio. They won't be able to watch the phone podcast, whatever it is up. They can listen to it, of course.
Yes.
But radio is a medium that is so intimate. It is really intimate, and we have to keep radio alive, and it's critical. For
those listeners that are out there, whether it is you yourself, if we have some college students, or you are a family member of some young journalist, I want you to think about what Sheila Dallas-Katzman is saying here. You're walking into mentorship. You guys have a mentorship program, but this is an opportunity for these young journalists to be enriched, their personal growth, your professional growth. I believe all that is there for them for the taking. I see nothing but the positives of where this can take you now that you sat down with us today and we're all learning.
Yeah, and you'll find the mentorship program on our website as well. There's a big one just ended in, actually two, in Nepal, in India, and Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And I just want to just also iterate the website for the USA chapter, I believe. It's IAWRTUSA.org. One more time, IAWRTUSA.org. That is the USA chapter. Lots of information on there as well. And there's also, if you want to be a part of it, there's you can apply for membership. If you're already there and you're listening and your dues are late, then you can make your due payments on that, all that good stuff. And this is really important. And again, the reason this station exists is exactly why you're here, because the information has to be out, and we are in a new normal. And we've got AI, and I was actually just watching some video. A guy from Singapore was just addressing how in the next few years AI is going to change so many things, and we may not be ready for all those changes.
Yeah, we have to be ready for it. You see, I did led for IAWRT last year at the United Nations with the United Nations, the women in media, taking this whole thing off. I had my moderator was from CBS Radio, and the whole thing of it, women in AI, tell your female students to check out women in AI, because there are lots of women in AI, but they're the last to get hired, right? And nobody talks about them. Right, and it was this whole thing was developed by a black woman a long time ago. Right, this is facts, and this came out at the United Nations. And we need to. There are things we need to know, but we don't know that we need to know them. So we should seek knowledge. And when you talk about the youth coming in from the colleges, we have 7 representatives at the UN. 2 are youth. Right, they have to be no older than 32. Right. Okay. And so right now we need to replace our young member who was our youth representative. She got a job at the Wall Street Journal and she's so busy, and I was her mentor, and she thanked me profusely.
Nice.
And
very nice.
She was at Baruch College in New York.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so we need another youth representative. Doesn't matter what part of the country you are. Oh. Right? So, when the Commission on the Status of Women happen in March each year, or the Department of Public Information, which is now Department of Global Communications, where you participated, Jim, they're now having the conference in Kenya this year, next month in May. So there are travel opportunities also where you meet other young journalists, you tour radio stations and television stations, and get a little of the history, especially when you travel to Africa and Asia and places like that.
Right.
Next year, our biennial conference is going to be in Nepal. Oh. And the next year, already people are competing to holding these conferences. It's going to be in Norway.
Oh wow,
right?
Nice.
And Norway was where our major funding were coming from for 20 odd years. We don't have that funding anymore. So we're, like everybody else, struggling to get those new fundings started.
Right. Well, folks are able to actually make donations to this organization. So that's a good thing. Miss Katzman, thank you so much for being here. Sheila, I will call you Sheila. All right. Sheila Katzman, USA President of International Association of Women in Radio and Television. We would love to talk some more with you. We got to make room for the professor of the old school, so he's going to take that. Very important organization. One more time, it's IAWRTUSA.org. Go to that website, find out more information. Sheila Katzman, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
All right. Well,
Thank you all. And I have 3 men interviewing me. Check that out. How cool is that?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? And thank you, Jamila. And a man brought me here. Too.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Something going on with man in the afternoon.
Right, right.
Husband
The
beside
queen
me.
of the day.
Yeah,
Wow.
that-
I
Yes,
feel
queen.
All the
special.
Queen's men.
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
propping you up. This is your day.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
This is your
And
moment.
keep doing that with our young people, talk to, mentor the young men about how they walk beside the girls, and it's important.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
important.
That it is. That it is.
Creating safe and productive spaces
All
for
gender.
for
They, she, he,
Yeah,
her,
yeah.
whomever.
Exactly. Thank you so much for being here. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's my pleasure.
This is the Morning Grind on 88.7 FM KAZI. The professor's up next. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
More to come with the